to international voice traffic that we can watch grow call by call in real time. And now you get to watch it with us. Today's event is not a forecast, it's not a slide of projections. The real thing, we have switched on in Pakistan, we are live. My name is Josh Watkins. For the next 40 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about exactly what Jingle is, the proprietary technology beneath it, the new platform we've put in front of the world tonight, and the model that we believe quietly rewrites how international voice gets carried and who gets paid for carrying it. Get comfortable. This is a big night for us, one we've been building toward and deliberately and patiently waiting for a very long time for the scale of this campaign to kick in and take place. There are two things going live this evening. They both belong together. The first is the campaign. The campaign was switched on just a couple of hours ago. It's a major real-world production campaign live across Pakistan. This is not a pilot. This is not a test in the lab. This is Jingle reaching out to real people at scale in one of the largest countries on earth and bringing them online as part of our network. The second is the new Jingle platform, the new Jingle website, which we will be unveiling tonight. The website is the most complete, most transparent and full account of what we do that we have ever published. The technology, the economics, the compliance, the whole architecture laid out for partners, for developers, for carriers, for anyone serious enough to want that detail. One shows the world what Jingle is, the other proves it, live in a real market. The story, the evidence on the very same evening. This is the night for our major production campaign to shine across Pakistan. And everything that we have built steps into full view. A real market, real revenue, and momentum that compounds from here. Let me start with the simplest version, and then we'll go deep. Every international phone call has to be terminated, as most of you know, landed on the network of the person being called. That last step is a real multi-billion-dollar wholesale market. Carriers pay per minute, per second, to get their calls delivered. It's worked for the same way for a very long time, decades. Traffic handled between a small number of large operators locked behind cell towers and capital. Jingle does something very different. Jingle is a lightweight plugin software that a mobile app can integrate. When a user opts in, their device is able to help carry that international voice traffic over our backbone, and the call is delivered through everyday opted-in phones instead of through hardware alone. And here is the part that matters. Everyone in that chain profits. The app developer typically earns a 50% share of the revenue on the traffic that their users are carrying. The user, if the app chooses, can be rewarded too. And it fits into the app that they already built. When a call comes in, it rings like any normal call and the user answers it. No ads, no new screens, nothing for the team to redesign. So let me be precise about how this respects the user, because it is a promise that we take very seriously. Jingle integrations are generally opt-in with clear consent. It requires no location, no GPS. The region for routing is derived simply from the user's own verified phone number within the application, nothing more. Call audio is then processed in real time and never recorded or stored. It is built to completely be accepted by Google's Play policy and aligned with GDPR. Privacy is not a feature that we've bolted on. It's the foundation that Jingle stands on, and the user journey reflects that. Before anything switches on any application or any handset, the person sees a clear, plain language screen that explains what is happening and why, and they have to actively agree. They verify their phone number once with a one-time code, so we know which country and which number to route for. And from that moment onwards, they can turn it off at any time in settings with one tap. Consent is given freely and can be withdrawn freely. Anything less would not be worth building. What they get is a normal call. The telephone rings, they answer, they talk, just like any other telephone call. What they don't get is anything jarring or new. There's no banners, no pop-ups, no slowdown, no adverts. The only new thing is a number going up in the partner's dashboard. That is the discipline of this product. It earns from a familiar call without ever asking the application to become something it isn't. So, a new full revenue stream for an application that respects the user, that needs no upfront cost, and that stacks neatly on top of whatever the application already does to make money. That's Jingle in one breath. Now let's talk about the engine underneath it. Jingle is the visible edge of something much larger, Minutes Network. We are a next generation carrier grade platform, and the proprietary technology suite we call Mintech is powering Jingle. This is not an off the shelf telecom software solution. It's a custom stack of proprietary technologies that we have built in house and is genuinely the differentiator between us and the other carriers out there. Let me name the pieces that matter tonight. The client. On the device, you have a lightweight plugin, just 3 to 10 megabytes, depending on the settings you've requested. It captures the audio, runs echo cancellation, opens the secure signaling session, and does it all on a tiny footprint on Android 8 and above across the major manufacturers. Signaling is also encrypted with TLS 1.3. In the cloud, on the switch nodes and the validation nodes, our proprietary routing core runs. It does its job to make a decision on every single call in milliseconds. Which path delivers this call at the lowest cost and the highest quality right now? That's the AI-driven least cost routing, LCR, that you might have heard us talk about in previous events. Inside Mintech, it is powered by what we call the revenue turbine, our cost and profitability optimization engine, and it handles transcoding, real-time billing, intelligent carrier selection, and live fraud detection. Underneath it all, the carrier itself is a 100% tier 1 CLI routing platform, pure, unblended routes, interconnected with some of the world's largest names in international voice today. Now, why does owning this whole stack matter? The entire stack allows us to carry traffic across our own distributed network instead of buying it in the traditional way. We strip out the layers, the middlemen, and with them, the cost. We can take up to 99% of the cost termination away. And when your cost structure is that far below the market, you are no longer a price taker. You set your own competitive rates to the carriers and you win the route. It's the lowest cost, the highest quality on every call automatically, and that is our proprietary advantage. And that's the reason that everything else in tonight's story is possible. Let me make that concrete because least cost routing is a few words that hide an enormous amount of real engineering. Let me slow the world down and let's talk through a single call. Somewhere overseas, a parent picks up the phone to call their child in Karachi, Pakistan. That call has to be delivered. And in the half second before it connects, a wholesale auction takes place that the caller never sees. Several carriers can deliver this call. Each one has a price. Traditionally, the originating carrier hands the call down a chain of middlemen, each taking a margin until it finally lands at a cost that has been marked up at every step in the journey. Now watch the same call with Jingle in the picture. Our platform looks at every available path in real time, not just the price, but the quality, the answer seizure ratio, the call setup time, the integrity of the calling line's identity. It scores them. Carriers choose us based on price. And because that call can terminate on our own distributed network of opted in, jingle enabled phones, our cost to deliver it is a fraction of what the chain of middlemen would normally charge. So we can offer the originating carrier that is a rate that is genuinely competitive and still profitable for us and for the application and for the user. We win that traffic. The call lands in high definition on that phone in Karachi. And in that same instant, several things happen at once. The caller's carrier got a better price, the call quality got better, the application earned its share, and the person who received the call earned a reward for doing nothing but answering a regular telephone call. One call, everyone in the chain better off. Now let's multiply that by a country. That's the entire model. In a single call, it is not a discount we're giving away. It is a cost we have engineered out of our system and then shared with everyone who helped carry the call. Do that millions of times a day, and you have not built a cheaper reseller. You have built a next generation carrier. Now, everything that I have just described and a great deal more is now documented in full on the new platform we're launching tonight. I want to walk you through it because it's not a brochure, it is the record. It opens by showing you plainly how an app becomes a revenue engine. No adverts, no disruption, pure additive revenue, but then it goes deep and it does not flinch from any detail. There is a full technology section, the layered architecture, the client, the platform, the interconnects, the real integration code a developer would actually use and write. There is an interactive experience that we call follow a call, where you can trace a single call station by station from the person making it through the cell tower, through the carriers, through to Minutes Network, all the way until the moment it lands on a jingle-enabled phone on the other side of the world. You can watch the traditional route and the jingle route side by side. It's probably the clearest explanation of international voice that I personally have ever seen in the last 20 plus years. And it's on the site right now for anybody to see and explore. There is a transparent revenue model with a live calculator, and there is some small print below the calculator explaining what the figures represent, what the figures are. The figures on the calculator are worked illustrations. They are not guarantees. They are dependent on real-world usage, the geography, and market conditions. There is also a serious compliance section, the consent flow, the Google Play data safety mapping, the GDPR rules, the privacy posture, laid out so that a developer and their legal team can do their job. There is also the company, who we are, the registered entities, the network, the partners. We built it in this way on purpose. This market, the traditional carrier market, has always been opaque. We're choosing to put the whole thing in the open because if you're going to ask serious partners to build on top of you, you owe them the full picture. The new Jingle website is that full picture. Now, I want to step away from the architecture for a moment because it's easy to talk about routes and rates and forget who is actually on the line. Think about who receives the most international calls in a country like Pakistan. It's the mother whose sons work in the Gulf. It's the grandfather whose family is scattered across 3 continents. It is the small trader who takes orders from abroad. These are not abstract high-value users. They are the people at the center of a family holding the phone every single day. For decades, the entire cost of staying in touch fell on them or on the people calling them, and not a cent of that value in these calls ever came back. The minutes were carried, the margins were taken, and the person at the heart of it got a phone bill. Jingle quietly changes that. We invert the process. The very thing that made them a cost, receiving a lot of calls, is now the thing that makes them valuable. Their phone stops being a drain and starts being a small, steady source of income. Nothing about their day changes. The calls come in exactly as they always did, but now on the other side of the glass, values flow back to them. And that is why this is also good business, not just good feeling. The people for whom Jingle is worth the most are precisely the people that the network needs most. The high frequency endpoints that real traffic can flow through. For once, what is best for the user and what is best for the network are the same thing. We don't have to choose. We're not extracting value from people. We are handing it back to the ones who were paying for the privilege of being reachable and connected. Now, hold on to that, because as this campaign progresses, hour to hour, day to day, week to week, you are going to watch these these counters climb on a screen. Every one of those numbers is one of these people discovering for the first time that the phone in their hand can pay them back, finally. So how do you build a carrier out of everyday phones? There are two engines driving this, and you need to understand both, or you should understand both. The first is the one most people imagine when they hear Jingle: applications. App partners integrate the plugin, their opted-in users become endpoints on the network. Each app is a building block for us at Minutes Network. And here is the strategic move. We do not chase one giant app and wait. We bring applications together, small ones, big ones, medium-sized ones, combined, or several small ones combined, chosen for the market that they serve. A couple of hundred modest apps assembled deliberately can form a base of a huge amount of endpoints as powerful as the largest app out there, and it's far more resilient. Now, this is not theory or theoretical. We have spent a great deal of time building these partnerships. We have multiple applications in various stages of integration right now, closed, building, perfecting, and more states. We have had boots on the ground in multiple countries doing the unglamorous work of onboarding apps one by one. That work continues every single day through Jingle, our initiative, and more. Every app that we bring on is another set of building blocks, and we are assembling them into something very large. But here is where we made a decision. I think this defines the company. We did not sit and wait for those integrations to finish. We asked ourselves and our partners a harder question. Do we have to wait for an app at all? The answer is no. The answer is the hyperscale model. And that is what has gone live in Pakistan tonight and is live as we speak, progressing as a live campaign. Here's the insight. The most valuable endpoint on this network is not an application. It is a person who receives a lot of international calls, a frequent callee, as I call them. Every call that they receive becomes a routed, or can become a routed minute and a reward to the network. Those people are worth a great deal. So hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year, the value of a single high frequency callee can represent to the network a great deal of value, depending on how many international calls they actually receive and the corridors that those calls travel. So instead of only waiting for applications to deliver those users to us, we go and bring the most valuable users directly onto the network. And we can do that wherever we have the rights to, wherever we hold a license or an LDI, through partnerships with MVNOs or local operators on the ground, like we do in Pakistan and Israel, for an example. We're not just pushing apps and hoping. We're going out and collecting the most valuable callees in a country directly and turning their incoming calls into income and into network capacity. Combine these two engines, apps as building blocks and direct onboarding of high-value users, and you do not get a slightly bigger app business. You get a carrier, a seriously large base of Jingle endpoints assembled across a country that we can then route real international traffic to and across at our own cost structure with our own rates. And this is exactly what we mean when we say reinvigorating carrier revenues. Through our local partners, we have access to a major amount of traffic in Pakistan and other countries. And we are here to take as much market share as we responsibly can and to put profit back into a chain that has been truly squeezed flat for many years. You'll be able to read this whole story properly told and explained in an upcoming series we're publishing called the Minutes Network Vision. Now, this brings us to tonight and to Pakistan. Let me set the stage and then let's talk about the control room. We have more than 240 million people in Pakistan. It's the fifth most populous country on earth, and it's a single market of extraordinary scale. There are 193 million mobile subscribers in the country, with well over 140 million broadband subscribers, a vast connected base of telephones. There are also more than 9 million overseas Pakistanis, one of the world's largest diasporas, which means an enormous daily flow of inbound international calls are being sent home. Now, hold these three numbers in your head. 250 million of people, almost all of them carrying a phone and generating a constant tide of incoming international calls. That's the opportunity. Now, let's talk about what we're going to do with it. This campaign represents a campaign that is backed by a control room behind the scenes, and it turns every contact, every install, every call into a story that we can watch unfold in real time. First, the country sorts itself by value, because here is the insight that drives everything. Not every telephone number, is equal. Some people receive dozens of international calls a month, and those are the people that Jingle is worth the most to, because every one of those calls becomes a reward. So before we spend a single dollar or rupee, the system has already ranked the country by who stands to gain the most. And those are the people that we're going to reach first. The funnel that is alive, you can see the numbers move through every stage, each one with a live counter, each one a real person somewhere in Pakistan discovering that their phone can now pay them. We go from reached to engaged to the application being installed. They verify their number, they receive their first call, minutes are earned, and rewards are paid live on the spot. And every single step is traced. This is the part that makes it even more powerful. Nothing here is anonymous to us. We can take a single person we reach to and follow their whole journey. Did they engage? Did they install? Did they verify? Did they receive their first call? How many minutes were run? And how much did they earn? For the first time, we can answer the question that every campaign in history has typically struggled with. Did it actually work? Not with a feeling, but with a traced line from outreach to outcome per person. So, as today's campaign progresses, here is what we're watching on the back end. Conversion at every step. What share of the people we reach to go on to install, to verify, and to make that first move when a call is received and minutes are inbound? The shape of the response. When the spike comes, how fast people move from curious to actively using the application. Return on every rupee, the cost per install, our cost, and the value created against it, calculated live. The concentration effect, and this is what we're really watching. We expect a small group of high-value users to drive a large share of all of the activity, a classic concentration curve. The panel shows us exactly who they are, so we can double down on them in real time. The optimization only gets sharper from here. In the next phase, we'll run different versions of our approach side by side and let the data tell us which ones move people best. The machine learns for every wave it runs. Now, I'm going to talk about what this night is. This is live. The numbers on the screen on the Explorer are not numbers that we have chose. They are the country answering us in real time. Some stages will move faster than others. Some hours will be quiet. Some will spike. And that is exactly the point. We are not asking you to admire a finished result. We are asking you to watch an instrument take its first readings of such a large market. Because here is what is genuinely new. Every campaign in the history of marketing has ended with a report written after the fact, full of estimations and assumptions. What you are looking at on the Explorer and what we are seeing on the administration panel is the opposite of that. It's a closed loop where the outreach, the installation, the verification, the first call, the minutes, the revenue are all the same chain of data, joined onto one thing that ties them together, the person. No estimation, no we think it worked or we think it will work, a traced line from the first contact to the last rupee. And that changes how a company can act. If a particular cohort is converting, we can lean into it tonight, not next quarter. If a corridor is producing more valuable callees than we expected, we can retarget toward it before the evening's out. The feedback loop is measured in hours, not months. The campaign is not a thing that we launched, it's a thing we are steering live. So keep an eye on the Explorer. We'll keep an eye on the administrative panels. And as the campaign runs, hour to hour, day to day, week to week, watch the map of Pakistan fill in and the count of jingle-enabled users climb wave by wave. Every increment is a phone that just joined the network and a person who just joined the story. And all of it rolls up into the line that matters most. On the Explorer, you can literally watch Jingle's coverage in Pakistan grow live. The calls, the number of Jingle-enabled users, and the revenue. It's all ticking up as each person responds and comes online. That is our company's revenue base growing in front of you in real time. Now, step back just a moment and consider the size of the market that we're walking into. Nearly $50 billion in 2025, expected to be $119 billion by 2033. The global wholesale international voice carrier market growing at roughly 12% a year, according to SkyQuest and Market.us. And over half of VoIP revenue comes from exactly the international minutes that Jingle carries. There are nearly 5 billion smartphone users in the world, according to Statista. And the global base of devices, every one of them is a potential Jingle endpoint in a world where international calling matters enormously. This is one of the largest, oldest, most entrenched markets in technology, and it has been carried for decades by a handful of incumbents over fixed hardware. What we are doing is opening a door that has been shut the entire time, letting app developers, local operators, and everyday users take a seat at that very table with one lightweight integration and a model that pays everybody in the chain. And remember, Pakistan is one country, a magnificent 250 million person country, and our current focus, but it's one country. So let me tell you where this goes. The vision is simple to say and enormous in principle. To launch Jingle in 150 plus countries, country by country, under hyperscale, licensing and LDI acquisitions, carrier agreements, and operational partnerships, with applications used as building blocks to assemble a vast base of Jingle endpoints and take as much market share as this technology can carry. The plugin itself can work in more than 150 countries already. There is nothing in the technology that stops it. The only limit is where we have users and where we have the rights and partnerships or organizational, operational arrangements. So we are going and getting both a license or an LDI here, an MVNO partnership there, a partnership with a local operator on the ground in a different occasion, and a cluster of apps in the market or a direct onboarding push in a different market. Each step is repeatable, and each one of those concepts compounds on the last. And the reason I can say repeatable with a straight understanding is that the playbook is the same in every single market. We secure the rights, we bring whatever app fits that market on as building blocks, and we switch on the hyperscale engine to onboard the highest value callees directly. route real international traffic across that base at our own cost structure, and then we watch the same control room we are watching tonight and the same explorer we are watching tonight light up for a new flag on the map. Each country we add does not just sit beside the others, it strengthens them. More endpoints mean more routes we can win. More routes means more traffic. More traffic means more reason for the next carrier, the next application, the next operator to be to wish to be a part of this network. That is the compounding effect. It's the flywheel, and Pakistan is the hand that gives its first hard turn. So let me be crystal clear about the scale of the ambition, because I do not want to undersell what we're doing. A world of frequent callees across more than 150 countries, brought online under licenses and partnerships carrying real traffic as one distributed network. That is not an app with good growth. This is a real attempt to reshape who carries the world's voice and who profits from it. Pakistan is the proof of the model at scale, and tonight is not the finish line. It is day one of a system designed to compound. The campaign will progress every day. We will hold more of these live events as it progresses to share exactly what we are seeing as the hyperscale frequent callee onboarding model proves itself out. And we will do it in the open. We'll be posting campaign statistics on social media as they come in and running regular live events like this one as the numbers grow. I think the next event will be on Monday. We're not asking you to take our word for any of this. We're inviting you to watch. Our carrier interconnects are among the biggest names in the industry. Our technology is proprietary. It belongs to us. We built this technology. And the possibility in front of us, a world of frequent callees across 150 plus countries brought online as one distributed carrier network, is frankly almost unfathomably large. Now, I want to be candid about how we got to this evening, because the headline, "Campaign Goes Live Today," hides years of unglamorous work. We spent a long time on the things nobody applauds, building the technology and then perfecting it, the plugin, the routing core, the billing, the fraud detection, until it was genuinely carrier grade. Building application partnerships, one conversion at a time, one conversation at a time, across multiple countries, putting people on the ground, actual boots on the ground to do the patient work of onboarding apps and earning the trust in these markets that have heard a lot of promises before from different revenue optimization plugins. The Jingle initiative is exactly that, and it has never stopped. We continuously push to onboard additional frequent callees and additional applications in a variety of countries. And then we made a decision that I'm very proud of. We had real application partnerships closed, but integrations take time. And time is the one thing a market does not give back. Most companies would have probably sat and waited for these apps to ship. We refused to. Our team refused to wait. We asked whether we could go and build the user base directly in the markets where we hold the rights or we hold operational organization to do such things. And we built the hyperscale model to do exactly this. So tonight is not a startup's first roll of the dice. It is a moment a patient company turns the scaled engine over. As the Pakistan campaign runs and as each customer comes online, it adds revenue, growing revenue. And you can watch it accumulate live, as I said, on the Explorer. This is what changes a company, not a launch announcement. It's revenue that compounds. We are not a company hoping to find a model. We are a company that found one, and it is now scaling it. As I said previously, you'll be able to read the full account of this journey in the series we are publishing, the Minutes Network Vision, including how the hyperscale model came to be and where it goes next. Now, this is exactly why we are not trying to do it alone. So before I close, an invitation. If you run an application anywhere in the world and you want to turn it into a revenue engine, the new site documents everything you need, and a dedicated integration engineer will walk your team through every step. Free to start, 50-50 on what we earn together. If you have partners you would like to bring in, apps, operators, license holders, people with traffic, please do. We would genuinely appreciate your help. And there is room for everyone in this model. If you're interested in an affiliate program, it has launched on the website tonight. And there will be a real place for the people who want to help us grow this network. Everything starts in the same place. The new platform we have launched tonight, the new website, it is in front. It is in the front door. The full technical record and place every partnership begins. I started tonight with a phone ringing in Pakistan. Let me end there too. Behind every number that climbs on the screen tonight is an actual real person, someone who just discovered that their incoming calls can pay them, and a system smart enough to find the next 1,000 people exactly like them, and the next 100,000, and the next millions. And in time, the next hundreds of millions across the world. For decades, the right to carry the world's voice traffic and the profit behind it sat behind cell towers and capital in the hands of a very few amount of people. We have built the technology to take it out of hardware and put it into everyday phones, into the hands of developers, of operators, and the people themselves. This campaign is not something that we've launched and hoped for. It is a living carrier, one that targets the right people, measures itself honestly, learns as it runs, and gets stronger every day. So starting today, across Pakistan, phones start paying their owners back, and we get to watch it happen live. Welcome to Jingle. I think that starting tonight, we will see the Jingle efforts build, compound, phones start paying their owners back. We get to watch it happen. Every person we reach, every install, every first call, every rupee earned, traced in real time on one screen. We don't target everyone. We find the people who receive the most calls, the ones Jingle is worth the most to, and we reach them first. So when these counters start climbing, this is not a forecast. That's Pakistan answering. One call, one install, one reward at a time. And this is just day one of the campaign. Thank you very much for those who have attended. We very much appreciate your time and your patience and involvement and participation in the opportunity. We look forward to Monday's show, where we'll be reflecting on the statistics that were seen over the weekend, and we'll be talking about what we can expect in the new week and beyond. It's very important to note that there will be additional endpoints deployed to the Minutes Network API, public API, which contain data on the campaign itself. Those data points will also become visible on the Explorer. Again, I thank you very much for your participation, and we look forward to Monday's show. I'm wishing everyone, including ourselves, a wonderful weekend and good luck with this campaign now running. Thank you.